going on, guys? It's your boy Matt St. Jack. Whether you're an avid anime fan, a wee tadpole still finding your way, or anywhere in between, I'll be providing my opinions and insights on anime old and new. Think Yelp with help from friends and producers from other shows weighing in. I know you can't wait to hear, and I can't wait to tell, so let's get to it. This is Matt St. Jack with Anime Talk. Let's go.
I'm Ashley Chancellor.
I'm Bo Maddox.
And I'm Matt St. Jack.
And this is Collateral Cinema with
Anime Talk.
Believe It. Welcome to Collateral Cinema, the only movie podcast that matters, where we focus on good movies, bad movies, and everything else in between in the world of cinema. We are podcasting straight from somewhere in Texas, and yes, my friends, we are a 420-friendly podcast, so whatever you have, be it dabs, blunts, or bongs, smoke it if you've got it, my friends. And joining us for the second attempt at this episode is Mr. Matt St. Jack from the Anime Talk podcast. How's it going, man?
Hey, I'm good, man. I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity, like I said, to jump on this one for the second time. Hopefully this one goes well, but I'm super excited, and I'm having a great day, man. I hope y'all are too.
Oh, certainly. Yeah.
Fucking A, man. All right. Well, yeah. So Naruto is a series that is very near and dear to my heart. It's my absolute favorite anime. And yeah, I mean, this is arguably my favorite movie of the bunch. This is the 10th animated Naruto movie. It is the only one actually now that is canon, technically, considering they readapted the Boruto movie back into the anime and the manga. But Matt, go ahead and, as our guest today, go ahead and give us your overall thoughts on this movie and the Naruto series as a whole.
So, no, it's a great question. And I mean, and technically I think this was actually the highest grossing Naruto movie too. So it was obviously, yeah, I think it was. I think it said it exceeded the sequel, which was Boruto, the movie. I think it was actually one of the highest grossing ones. Maybe I saw that. Maybe I'm making it up. I wouldn't put it past myself. No, I absolutely love the series. Naruto was, like you said, it was one of those ones kind of growing up that like I loved. Like it was really cool to see like, you know, the whole shinobi and, you know, see different ninja and then different abilities and different just like techniques and things like that, like different jutsus and ninjutsus and taijutsus and genjutsus and all the jutsus. So it was awesome to see all those. I personally, like I said, I loved it. I watched everything. Though the thing that I didn't necessarily like, and I think we joked about this before, was like I wasn't a huge proponent on how they did Boruto. I know that's a sticky topic. Some people love it, some people didn't. So it kind of lost me when it came to Boruto. But as far as like the OG Naruto and like Naruto Shippuden, they were absolutely amazing. I think that they're great watches, and I tell people all the time, like on my show, or if anybody asks me for a recommendation, I'm like, dude, you have to go back in and you have to watch Naruto. Like it's a staple. You have to do it if you're going to call yourself a true otaku.
Yeah.
But as far as like this movie though, I really like this movie. It was to me, this was like one of those like long time coming. And I mean, there's a reason why obviously they call it the last. But you know, it was a long time coming. Like I thought that it was a great opportunity to kind of put a bow on a lot of relationships and situations in the franchise that we knew were kind of there. But we just never kind of got the we never got the confirmation of. But it has great fight scenes, great love story, which I tell people all the time, if it has a good soundtrack and it has a good love, like underlining love story and a whole bunch of action, like you got me, I'm sold. And like I said, just all those three things rolled into the fact that it's Naruto related. I was 100%, 100% in on it. So it's a dope movie. Like I said, I'm not going to go too deep into detail right now. I know that you guys probably have thoughts too, but I absolutely loved it. So I'm curious to see or hear your opinion on it.
Fuck yeah, man. Bo, how about you? This is your second time watching the movie, and this time we went back and we watched some prep episodes. So what are your thoughts?
Yes, this time around, those prep episodes did actually help me have a better understanding of what was going on in this movie because I mean, when it comes to anime, Naruto is something that, I've been aware of it. I've watched some of it, but I never really got that incredibly deep into it, I mean, I was always more of maybe like a Dragon Ball or One Piece type of guy, or sure. Even more like, Cowboy Bebop or just stuff like that. But I mean, now that I have a little more context as to, how these relationships really work throughout the Naruto series and everything, it's like, yeah, you know what? That made this rewatch of this movie a lot better than before, and I really enjoyed it the first time around. Because, I mean, I really feel that this is a deeply cinematic movie. I mean, it has a higher budget. It has a way better quality animation than the actual series. But it also has interesting thematic elements to it, like thematic elements of, what it means to grow up and what it means to actually become emotionally mature, But I mean, as somebody who is kind of just a tangential Naruto fan, yeah, I would say that this is one of the better stories that I've seen out of the franchise. And it does make me want to actually kind of go back. And now that, it's a little easier to rewatch Naruto and whatnot, maybe go back and check out the original series again. At least get into the arcs that I didn't get into beforehand. So yeah, this is definitely a movie that, I can definitely get into as a cinephile as much as I can as a fan of anime and everything.
Hell yeah, bro. So we've talked about this before. After all, for our listeners who are unaware, I think we've mentioned it a couple times, but this was planned as an episode last season, and we are now re-recording it with the same guest and everything. So a lot of this is going to be stuff that we talked about before, but it was like over a year ago, so we're all good, right? But yeah. Naruto is my shit. It absolutely my shit. This was one of my autistic hyperfixations. Actually, it still is. Like, I'll go over to my parents' house and I'll go put on some fucking Naruto, and I'm sure they get annoyed by that. And I'll, when I'm over here at the house, I'm watching, at my own place, I'm watching fucking Naruto. And so, I'm always talking about Naruto with people, and like, you get me on a tangent, and Bo knows what I'm talking about. Like, I'll just keep going because
yeah, definitely. I've had quite a few conversations about Naruto with you. I mean, I probably learned more about the series proper from you than from anywhere else. So yeah,
Naruto is my special interest. So like everything there is to know about this series, every detail, that it's there for me. Naruto it's my fucking shit. And I love a lot of anime, but Naruto continues to be my very favorite. I have different thoughts about Boruto as a sideline. I'm one of those Boruto defenders, and in its defense, yeah, the anime is trash, but the manga is fire. And ever since Kishimoto took over the manga, it's been cooking. I mean, we got like a whole like post time skip shit now, and Boruto has the flying thunder god just like his grandfather, the fourth Hokage, and this shit's getting good. That was my little tangent on that. But as for the last Naruto the movie, taking place after Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, which I watched all of those animes. I was reading the manga from like the Pain arc on in real time. So like I was there. I remember back in 2014, the same year this movie released, the very last chapter of Naruto released. I remember a couple chapters before that waking up and I was still living at home. So I come downstairs and I'm like, Mom, Naruto and Sasuke's arms got blown off.
I mean, knowing your mom, she'd probably just roll her eyes like, yes, I know. Okay, that's fine.
Be careful. It's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was watching this manga in real time. I remember the announcement for this movie came out just shortly before the manga ended. And actually, it kind of spoiled the fact that both Naruto and Sasuke would survive the end of the manga. I remember seeing like the promo art and it showed the characters. They obviously look a little bit older, new designs, which were done by Kishimoto, who was involved in this. And I'm thinking, hey, I guess they both make it out alive. And what's going on with Naruto's arm? Why is it all bandaged? Does it get like damaged at some point? And then, they concluded the manga. We saw what happened there. He lost his arm and that's his prosthetic that's all wrapped up in bandages. And then this movie came out shortly after the manga concluded, I believe. And I went to go see this at the Draft House with some friends. And it was an experience. I remember at that time, the English dub wasn't even out. When they first, did the theatrical run for this movie at certain theaters, it was just the Japanese version. But I remember like watching it and I was so hyped about this movie that I done spoiled the entire movie before it came out. So I knew everything that was going to happen, but I still loved it.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And as for my overall thoughts on it, this movie, again, is, I think, my favorite of the Naruto movies. It's a love story, which kind of separates it because shonen anime in particular doesn't really tend to do romance, and neither does Naruto. But,
nope.
Kishimoto decided to go ahead and do this one project, this one movie to explain what we saw in the epilogue, showing how Naruto ended up marrying Hinata and on all of that. So, and this is before he achieves his dream of being Hokage. It's a short little piece, that's set 2 years after the end of Shippuden. And yeah, man, I'm excited to talk about it with you guys.
For sure.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah. No, that's a hell of a way to kind of break it down. I thought that I really liked it, but clearly this is your shit. So I'm here for it. I'm curious to see your thoughts and hear it on a lot of this stuff. So I can't wait.
Oh man. Getting into this movie, I really love the opening. We get this kind of cool little, calligraphy style intro showing the shinobi history, and then up until the present day of the series, Naruto's birth, the Naruto versus Sasuke fight at the end, and that's all done to the tune of Green Sleeves, and I just really like that opening.
Yeah, I mean, it's what kind of makes this movie technically a Christmas movie, right? Or at least a holiday adjacent movie. Like, I believe there's even a festival where we even see some little Christmas trees on the banners and everything. So, yeah, this is definitely at least a wintry holiday adjacent movie, and I appreciate it for that. It kind of gives Naruto fans a little something to put on near the end of the year and everything.
Yeah, I thought and I think that the other thing too, like you said, if I'm not mistaken, I know there was like you said, the element of like snowflakes and things like that. So it was kind of, like that cold winter. We all saw obviously the scarf and things like that, I'm pretty sure we're going to kind of break down and kind of talk about a little bit more of the importance of that. But like even just, having the scarf wrapped around the neck, kind of that, that the Lantern Festival, kind of that whole, feel that lets like this is, like you said, this is around, that Christmas or holiday time. So it definitely, it feels right. Like it feels like they start the movie off at a really good spot and it just kind of like only build up from there. It makes it feel like I always love like watching movies or watching shows that can like put you in a space and you immediately feel like, oh yeah, like I'm here with you. Like I want to smell the smells of the food and, hear the laughter of everybody kind of running around and everything like that. So it definitely starts it off and kind of sets you up in that mindset though.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting, too, because we never really saw winter in the Hidden Leaf Village or Konohagakure. In fact, I didn't even know it snowed in the Land of Fire. I thought maybe it might kind of be like Texas, where it just like never snows there because we never see it snow there. But nope, here we go. This is set during the winter season. You know, they've got their own kind of like equivalent of Christmas, I guess, because you see all the girls popping up and giving Naruto presents.
It kind of tracks when you know what Christmas is about in Japanese culture. You know, it's usually treated as more of a romantic holiday. So, yeah, all the girls giving him gifts. It's like that tracks a lot.
Yeah. So, yeah, you kind of like set the mood for this. And by the way, the fact that Naruto is so well beloved by the girls in the village, in fact, across the world, girls come from other villages to give him presents. It's kind of a cool thing, seeing my boy grow up and achieve his dream. Not just his village, but the entire world respects him now. He's a war hero. And he's not become the Hokage yet, but he's on the track. I never understood why Naruto had to wait to become Hokage, because I mean, Gaara became Kazekage at 15, but apparently Naruto wasn't mature enough. I don't know, but
well, then you don't have a character arc for him, you know. I mean,
well, but it's kind of weird because the series ends with him at 17, and he's not ready to be Hokage yet because he's not yet, and then we get the epilogue, which is some, decade later, and he's Hokage then. And during this gap, we have Kakashi filling in as the Hokage. In fact, that's where Naruto chapter 699 ended, was with Kakashi kind of filling in as the 6th so that Naruto could become the 7th. So I did always think it was weird because there isn't really a character arc. This is all happening like in the gaps between where, the series ends and where Boruto begins. So I did think that was odd, but, maybe, he just wasn't ready yet. But like Gaara's a whole different guy.
Well, I feel like, and this is maybe me just speculating again, please take everything that I'm saying with a grain of salt, but I'm pretty sure, isn't there like I wonder if there would be like some, because I didn't even think about it until you just said, I wonder if there's some significance to the number 7 maybe in like Japanese culture or something. Because to your point, like I always wonder, like, there are things, because I know like 4 is like not necessarily a great number. But, or 4, is it 4 or 5? Anyway, there's a couple, like, I wonder if there's like a numerology, behind it, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like the reason why he took over and why he wasn't going to be 6 was because of X reason, you know what I mean? I always wonder, because a lot of shows kind of slip those things in that you wouldn't necessarily think about. So maybe there is, like you said, some kind of importance around, him being 7 versus 6.
I actually, just Googled it, and apparently in Japanese culture, the number 7, much like in other cultures, is considered a lucky number associated with good fortune and happiness.
There you go.
So, yeah. I mean, then that would actually make sense. So,
yeah. I believe it is a lucky number because I remember Chomei, the Seven Tails, introduces itself as Lucky 7 Chomei. So if I recall, 7 is one of those numbers. So possibly. And I remember Obito says something towards the end of the manga where he's like, Kakashi, you're going to be the 6th, but Naruto, you're going to be the 7th. And I'm like, okay, all right. So we're going to do this. But anyway, moving back, so we start off with that phenomenal intro, and we actually get some flashback sequences before we get to see where Naruto is at today. And this is really cool because they sort of redo a scene that was added into the Confessions episode in the anime with the bullies bullying Hinata and Naruto coming in to rescue her.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of sets the mood, kind of sets the tone for why she fell in love with him in the first place, right?
Yep.
Very much so. I really enjoyed how they redid that scene and everything. It actually, like not only does it have the better animation and everything, but it feels like it's a little more emotionally grounded a little bit. But still plays into the character types that Hinata and Naruto represent and whatnot.
No, I agree, and I think to both of you all's point, I think that I always love just in general where a show can show a scene and then you can come back and like you can always expand on it, like you kind of give it like you said, in layman, like if you're just watching the anime, you're like, okay, cool, that happened. Like, all right, it's the transaction. It's a transaction that had to happen because, like you said, to your point, especially in Shonen, the Shonen Jump, universe, it always feels like there's always a relationship that has to happen in order for a character to get stronger. I did an episode on my show where I talked about, the fact that like these characters have to find somebody to fall in love with that person, but then they never tell that person that. But when it happens, it's because there's usually like a power upgrade or something like that. Like I tell you that I love you, and then you're like, oh, well, we'll win this together. And then all of a sudden I power up because, dude, power of love and friendship. But in this situation, like you said, it isolated that from the actual series and gave it its own special moment, which was awesome. It's always awesome to see. So I just want to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of did prefer the original rendition of that scene in the anime. I'm not going to lie, because I feel like that is the Confessions episode is one of the very few episodes where they added anime content and actually expanded it and made it better than the manga. Same thing with the Naruto versus Sasuke fight, with the additions they made in that one. And it's one of the best written and best animated episodes in all of Shippuden. But I can kind of like reconcile it in my brain as like, okay, here's a similar situation that happened. And you can pick apart the scene and think like, okay, why does Naruto use shadow clone jutsu here when, he shouldn't have known that? Well, actually, the jutsu he learned from the Scroll of Seals was multi-shadow clone jutsu, which is the forbidden version. The regular shadow clone jutsu is a well-known jutsu that is used by, the Chunin and Jonin of the Hidden Leaf Village. So, it's a B rank jutsu. So, not outside of the realm of possibility that Naruto would have heard of that and tried to replicate it. And of course, he creates the tiny little clones. In the anime version, he just uses his dummy clone jutsu, but yeah, just minor nitpicks. They introduced the scarf, and which is going to be a major element throughout the rest of the film. I mean, we've got this like red scarf that symbolizes the love between Naruto and Hinata, and I think it's meant to draw a parallel with the Japanese red thread of fate.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also it's I think that the red scarf symbolizes not only the whole red thread of fate and everything, but also it kind of symbolizes what that final step that both Hinata and Naruto must take when it comes to achieving emotional maturity, or at least the emotional maturity that you would need to actually be honest with somebody and tell them how you feel, and to actually be in a serious relationship. I mean, throughout the movie, this scarf that she takes so much care into making, it gets tattered, it gets attacked, it's ripped into shreds, it's even obliterated at one point. But I mean, it still symbolizes the resilience of their feelings for each other, but it also symbolizes the struggle that one can engage in to actually be emotionally mature. I mean, some people don't even become fully emotionally mature, at least not outright. No. So, I mean, it just kind of symbolizes basically the struggle that Hinata and Naruto have, both as a couple, but also as individuals, when it comes to their own path towards emotional maturity.
Yeah. And I mean, and to kind of piggyback off of that, like, I think too, I mean, like you said, we'll continue to talk about it because it's kind of a vocal point throughout this whole movie. But I mean, and even beyond that, like you said, just the relationship with Naruto and Hinata, like, I mean, when you actually think about the main reason and the first time that we actually saw this scarf, like you said, what it symbolizes from a love from someone who Naruto has a very close relationship with his mom. It's one of those things that's like, you're like, hey, it's my mom, she's not here anymore, this is the last kind of thing that I have for her. Everybody's always, because in the series, and I'm sure Ashley, you know about this more than I do, I'm sure, but like in the series, every single time you turn around, they're always talking about Minato. They're never,
Yeah.
it's always about dad, what your dad did as a Hokage, what your dad did is this. But this was the first time that we actually got an opportunity to focus solely on the relationship that, and something that was significant from his mom and the relationship, that kind of came from there because we know that they had a somewhat of a good relationship. And obviously his mom went through hell and hot water, not only one to have him, but two, just to have the tail beast and everything like that sealed inside of her and all that good stuff. So it is good to kind of give her a shout out to say, hey, you know what, this is not only because of, like you said, our relationship, me and Hanada as far as Naruto, but also the relationship and the tie-in between me and my mom. So it was awesome to kind of see that one item and one object can have such a dual purpose of importance.
True. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, like you said, we don't get a whole lot of Kushina in the manga and in the anime. Naruto meets her very briefly, and they sort of have a talk, and similar to how he did with his dad, and he gets to hug her, and we find out about her. But after that, nothing. And then Minato gets reanimated during the war, and that was cool. They got to be together as father and son, and so it was cool to have that neat little reference to her, and that's not revealed towards the end of the movie. You're thinking oh, Naruto's treating this other scarf as precious to him, and who gave it to him, where did it come from, and then they reveal. And I think that's also important too, because it's symbolic of what love means. And I think Naruto is able to connect something the way that my parents loved me to the way that I'm going to love the woman that I want to spend the rest of my life with. The movie sort of gets into Naruto's understanding of love. He thought he was in love with Sakura, but he was kind of just infatuated with her. And as the movie explains, Naruto is so emotionally immature and, growing up without parents that he doesn't even really understand the difference between the love of sweets or ramen and the love between people. But through his brief interactions with his parents and finding out what they did for him, I think it's a cool little connection that he can make and realize, the scarf that my mom made for me, the scarf that my future wife is making for me. And, it all sort of culminates in that one Genjutsu flashback sequence where he finally puts it together. A few of the events that happened in the series, Hinata giving him the ointment, Hinata straight up confessing her love to him, and him just never touching on that and never getting back to her on that. I was always curious. And, then he kind of starts to figure out, okay, when you love someone, this is the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. And the person who you would spend your last day on earth with, and it all sort of comes together for him. And then after that, we kind of see a difference in Naruto's personality. We get to see this kind of more shy side of him where the roles are reversed and he's kind of spying on Hinata and shit. And he gets a little bashful. And I really like seeing this side of him.
Yeah. No, it definitely is awesome. And I think the other part of it too is like you said, to your point, and we're talking about specifically on, Naruto's side this time, but even just to tie in, like you said, to Hinata, the roles reversing, she finally got to a point where, I think she had a conversation with Sakura where Sakura was like, oh, you got to tell him, he's a nitwit, he's a dimwit. He doesn't understand. You got to tell him. And her kind of, like you said, her also going on her own journey to get out of her shell, to understand that, what I'm saying, like you said, she had, the relationship she had with her parents, she had a really rough and good, good and bad relationship with Neji. So it's that whole thing of the importance of family, because the Hyuga clan was one of the best, if not arguably, one of the most popular and strongest, families in the village. And they all had to exist the way that they had to exist and carry themselves a certain type of way. And, in Japanese culture in general, there is a kind of a tie-in to how women are more of the, the humble and more of I'm subservient and I do all these type things. Whereas in this situation, we got to see her on an opposite path of saying, you know what, no, I gave you all these subtle hints, but at this point, no, my boy. this is mine. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to step to the table and, and kind of do this. And she kind of grows in herself to get a little bit more confident. And I mean, she's still, like you said, she's still bashful and she's still very, kind of still a little shy, but we get to see her kind of come out of her shell a little bit more. So it's almost like they're both, like you said, maturing to tie it back, no pun intended, obviously, but, to tie it back to that scarf of seeing two separate journeys, but they're both going in opposite directions and still coming back together. One of them, like you said, becoming a little bit more bashful and a little bit more sensitive and in touch with his feelings. The other kind of being like, hey, you know what? I've tried this one approach, but at this point, I know what I want, and I want you to understand that you are what I want, and I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more assertive to let you know that. So it was really good to kind of see, that tie in.
Yeah. Arguably, Hinata shows a little bit more agency in this movie. They give her a little bit more to work with. At the end of the day, Naruto still kind of has to rescue her, but we get to see her act on her own, and she goes through with a whole plan in order to get her sister back, and she tries to do it. And, I thought that was really cool. And also, for once, she's the chosen one in this movie, right? Like, she's the Byakugan princess, the one that who's necessary, to save the world of the Sage of Six Paths, the Shinobi of Earth. And her chakra is necessary to destroy the Tenseigan. And so they kind of, and then they even complement each other because, her chakra is necessary to destroy it, but then Naruto's the only one who's got enough chakra to actually do it. So only by combining her unique chakra as a descendant of Hamura Otsutsuki and Naruto's just raw power and chakra reserves are they able to overcome that and destroy the energy vessel together. And also, she kind of comes to his rescue right at the end after he does the major final fight with Tonari, who we'll get into a little bit. She kind of steps in and helps him, regain his power and in that like final confrontation moment, right?
Yeah.
So, and the love story between Naruto and Hinata are obviously the focal point of this movie. This is the movie that tells the story of that romance. But we do get a lot of good action scenes. We have, in my opinion, one of the more compelling antagonists in the Naruto series, and I wish we got more of him with Tonari Otsutsuki.
Yeah, I vibe with Tonari a little bit as a character and as a villain. He's going for the gusto here. He's like, nah, the Sage of the Six Paths. It's like that whole thing. Nah, screw that. It's like I'm destroying the world. Yeah. It's like, he becomes a world level threat, like just like that, and it's all over Hinata and whatnot, and some misinterpretation of what I believe it was Hamura. I think it was. Yeah, it was a misinterpretation of what he actually said. So, Tonari is a good example of how zealotry can kind of really cloud one's rational mind.
Definitely.
And I would say too, like, and I thought about this because I just saw the meme earlier, so it's actually perfectly fitting. But they were talking about, like, especially like in anime, you always see like that moment where it's like, you know what, I'm this villain, I'm going to destroy the whole world, and then like it's like, have we ever just taken a moment as the good guy and be like, hey, but if you destroy the world, where are you going to live? You know what I mean? Like, it's always one of those things that's like, yeah, I understand that you have like an end goal and what you're wanting to accomplish, and that's cool and all, but let's kind of think this through a little bit,
He lives on the moon, and I think he explains at one point that like his castle will be protected even while the moon is breaking apart, and then they're supposed to repopulate the earth or something, and that's why he wants to marry Hinata. But yeah, his plan wasn't like entirely thought out, but you have to remember, like this was this celestial decree that he thought must be served. And, it even when Hinata kind of tries to reason with him and is like, hey, you misinterpreted the celestial decree, this was not what was supposed to happen. He refuses to believe it because here's this boy who grew up in this clan who sealed away their eyes, grew up blind, and apparently everyone else died out or something. He's the last remaining member of the Otsutsuki clan, and that's all he's ever known. So it's a good example of someone who, might actually be a good person underneath, but because he spent his whole life believing this, that's the impetus for everything. And I also think it's cool how they maintained the stakes from the end of part 2/Shippuden. I mean, we have the Otsutsuki clan as kind of like the final villains of the series, and they have an even arguably bigger presence in Boruto, but. Yeah. Using a member of their clan, I think, was the perfect choice. That way, it's just not like, okay, no, here's not some other Joe Schmo, villain of the week. No, here's someone who is, equivalent threat to what they faced before. And it's also really cool how, I forgot what I was going to say.
It's all good.
Well, you got to give it to Toneri, because in the end, when he is actually defeated, he takes his defeat in grace, and he pretty much banishes himself to the moon and everything. He's like, no, I need to pay penance for what I've done. And, so I mean, that really just goes to show you that, I mean, he was just misguided. Yeah. I think at the very end.
Yeah. No, that's what I was about to hit. That was literally what I was about to hit towards. So you took the words right out of my mouth. It's one thing, like you said, for a villain to understand, well, and let's go ahead and say this too. Like, as much as, in the shonen, especially in that universe, like the majority of you don't see the ultimate protagonist like ever really like kill the bad guy. Like, it's usually like one of those things, like especially in Naruto, it's always that trope, right? Of like, no, at the end of the day, we're just gonna be friends, and this is gonna make you, a good person. But to your point, he did have that moment of clarity to understand, like you said, I messed up. Naruto's like, no, like, you can do this. Like, we can make this all happen. And he's like, you know what? I appreciate that, but no, like, I'm going to take, like you said, I'm going to take penance, and I'm going to I'm going to sit here and I'm going to live the life that, that I deserve, that I feel like I deserve, even though you're trying to give me grace and trying to, tell me that it'll all be okay. No, I have to do this. So I think that's you talk about maturity. It's one thing to, start off and do something completely wrong and then be like, oh yeah, I was just playing. I didn't mean to do that. But it's another thing when you sit down and you say, hey, you know what? No, I did mean to do this, and I deserve to be punished as such. So I do have to give him, a shout out for that one.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And he's just a cool character. I mean, they stayed consistent with the power scaling. We've got, again, another member of the Otsutsuki clan. This guy is capable of splitting the entire moon in half. So we're getting those levels now. By the way, this is my argument for, and I know we talked about this last time, but this is my argument as to why Naruto is actually planet busting level. It's just that unlike Dragon Ball Z, he doesn't go around busting planets because he happens to live on one, right? Yeah. But and the Naruto series is a little bit more grounded, and they don't go from planet to planet, right? But this movie is my argument as to why Naruto is theoretically planet busting level, because if you pay attention, he's not even using his most powerful form in the final fight with Toneri. He's not even using the Sixth Path Sage mode. He's using a combination of Sage mode and Kurama Chakra mode, and he bodies the attack that splits the moon in half. Yeah. Just bodies it. So, and we already know that Naruto, towards the end of the war, was near light speed level because he could keep up with Sasuke, who could teleport. So we already know that, here's some physics breaking shit. And arguably, Naruto actually holds back in this movie, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. Wow, I never even thought about that, but yeah, that actually makes perfect sense. Because to your point, I mean, even leading up to that, we talked about, even when you go back to the Great Ninja War, when A was sitting there and A's like, there's only one person who's been faster than me, and that was his dad, and then he takes off running, and it's like, well, hold on, never mind. There's two people faster than me now.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, but I do like that.
The Raikage and Killer Bee both show up in this movie very briefly, and they're awesome. I mean, Killer Bee straight up has a moment where he's like, "Yo, no, I can't kill Naruto, man. That's my homie."
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, and you love B. Like B is definitely one of my favorites.
Wu-Tang is for the children.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, ODB said so.
Well, like the thing that I love, like I love Killer B. I think but still probably one of my favorite moves, and this is obviously just going off on a tangent. It's only because you brought them up. But obviously the Raikage, when A does that lariat bomb or whatever it is, that or is a Liger bomb, I think is what it is.
There's a lariat and there's a Liger bomb, which are both pro wrestling moves apparently.
Yes, exactly. The Liger bomb, his like power bomb where he literally charges up, is still probably one of my favorite moves in general, just because it's like just pure power, pure speed. And I give zero fucks about what happens to the world after this or the building or wherever I am. I'm literally about to crush your body and fold you like a pancake. So I absolutely love that move. But like I said, I'm just going off on a tangent. But I do love A. I think that A and B don't necessarily get. I mean, they do get their moments. Like you said, they showed a brief cameo in this movie, but I don't think that they get enough love, in my opinion. But that's just me. Like I said, tangent off.
A arguably gets more screen time than Sasuke.
Well, that's true. That is true. That is true.
Yeah, no kidding.
Sasuke shows up for like a couple scenes, has like one cool scene where he splits a meteor in half, and then that's it. And then he doesn't even show up to his best friend's wedding. What a fucking bastard. How are you not going to show up to your homie's wedding?
Yeah, what the hell is that?
Let's be fair. He didn't show up to freaking Sarada being born. So, I mean, if you don't show up to your own child being born, I can't imagine, that you show up for your best friend's wedding. I'm surprised I had a conversation with somebody. I was like, I don't even think that they're like Sasuke and Sakura are married. And they were like, yeah, I guess you never know. I was like, well, if they were, he probably didn't show up for that either. He's probably still on an important mission. He's like, just sign the papers. We'll get this taken care of when I come back home. I'm on an important mission. So
yeah.
All right, everyone, write down who you'd want to spend the last day on Earth with.
What's the point? I mean, there's no way that the world is gonna end.
I'm just saying, if it were to happen.
But it isn't going to happen.
There, all done. I put my heart and soul into making this. I'm sure my feelings will get through to Naruto. What are you doing? Go for it, Hinata. He can be so dense sometimes, and maybe he doesn't even know what love really is.
What the hell's going on?
The moon is clearly getting closer to Earth. Thus all the meteorites.
If nothing is done, mankind will
perish.
The Earth will soon be destroyed.
But going back to that final fight, what did you guys think about that?
Oh yeah, I mean it's about on par with some of the better fights that I've seen from like Bleach or even Dragon Ball. You know, like I mean, especially when you get to the planet busting level, and I mean, then this is going to be, like you said, the closest that we can get to confirming Naruto's power in that respect. But I mean, yeah, I mean, it was quite a dynamic fight. It had some ebb and flow to it and everything, which is what every good anime fight should have. You know, I mean, when you really get down to it, and I mean, also, I mean, Tonari as a villain, I mean, he puts up a fight, and yeah, I mean, at the end of all of this, I mean, the Earth still stands. So, I mean, and you also get the Nine-Tail Fox as well. We get a little bit of action from him, which was really cool. So
yeah.
Yeah, I also, well, one, I was taking everything that was just said, but to your point, I think that form of Naruto, like you said, besides his Sage of the Six Paths, is probably one of my favorite ones. Kurama, or is it Kurama?
Kurama.
Yeah, Kurama, that Kurama infused version is probably one of my favorites. And I mean, like you said, just the love, like I've always been a huge proponent that I've loved Neji's, 8 palm, 64 trigrams, all that other stuff. Like that's cool. But like Hanada's like gentle fists is like probably one of my favorite, like visually. I mean, like just being able to use your hands and see like these small lions, things like that, like you can kind of use, like is absolutely fantastic to me. So just seeing, like you said, just seeing some amazing fight scenes, and then like you said, seeing the love, like that love of like me and you together, we can kind of do this. Like you said, yeah, Naruto could have beefed up to that last level. It'd be like the same thing. It's the same thing that I dislike about Dragon Ball in the sense, or Dragon Ball Z in the sense that like Goku always shows up to this fight as like level 1 Goku, and then he's like, oh, I'll gauge your power and then I'll power up. Like if Naruto just came into this one and just went like Super Saiyan 4 at the very beginning, or Super Saiyan God, we would have been like, all right, well, you know what, forget it. Like this dude doesn't stand a chance. But at least they, like you said, they kept the power level, somewhat comparable. We all knew that Naruto Ultimate was going to win because, I mean, we know that that's how that was going to go. But,
True.
They at least made it to where his power was comparable. And he kind of needed that little bit of boost to kind of get him over the top. I absolutely loved it. Like you said, I think it was a great fight scene for sure.
Hell yeah. No, that final fight, man, is one of my most hype moments in this franchise. Just seeing them both go chakra mode, just like flame on, at an instant. Naruto actually sends Kurama off to kind of do his own thing, fighting the giant statue. And, he and Tonari just duke it out, chakra mode against chakra mode. And then, Tonari splits the moon in half and we get a little bit of silence. What happened to Naruto? He comes up out of the gap with 1,000 fucking shadow clouds. And then we get the it's not over until I say it is, and we get the Naruto main theme from part 1 make a reprisal here in a new arrangement, and it's just so fucking hype. He goes at it with the massive Rasengan barrage and just uses everything, and then ultimately the one attack that lands is just one punch. That's what Tonari says. You got me with one punch or one hit. So it's like, is Naruto One Punch Man now?
and that's after that whole time that Tonari was saying, look, you're never going to put a hand on me. Your fist is never going to reach me.
Yup.
And all it took was just that one punch, and he's done.
Yeah, the foreshadowing fulfilled. It's super, super fucking awesome moment. And they tied into the whole, it takes a lot of time to knit a scarf and like the conveyance of love. And like we see all of these things that come together. Other than, Naruto, Hinata, and the fights, Tonari, we have a few other characters here that aren't as important, but it's good of them to make an appearance. Of course, we have all new designs for every character. This is 2 years after Shippuden, so they all look a little bit older and they all have new designs from Kishimoto. But your core cast are going to be Shikamaru, Sakura, Sai. Those are the 3 that tag along with Naruto and Hinata for this mission. And what did you guys think about those characters in the context of this movie?
I think they're pretty much kind of the unsung heroes of this movie a little bit. Like, especially when after Tonari takes Hinata away and Naruto had his chakra sucked out and everything. They pretty much hold the fort. They continue to try to find a weakness in the chakra that's surrounding the castle and everything. So and at the end of the day, they're the ones that have to pull Naruto out of his funk. After Hinata has been taken. But really, especially with Sakura. Sakura spent 3 days using her jutsus to heal Naruto. And without them, there's just there's just no way that any of this there's no way that any of this comes to fruition, and it also really helps Naruto and Hinata along, on their journeys, toward their inevitable conclusion together and everything. But I really love that scene where he's talking to Sakura while she's laying down, and she's just like, oh, you finally figured it out. It's like, well, and it's just like, remember when you said you loved me? It's like, I mean, it's like you were doing that because of Sasuke and everything, you know. It's like. Yeah. I remember just earlier I watched a video where this one dude was really complaining about that scene, and I'm just like, well, why? I mean, it really kind of shows how far Naruto has come emotionally, as far as that emotional maturity that we're talking about, you know. And it's like, my guy, you're just not. You're obviously not understanding, you know, where, you know, what's meant to happen here. You're
he
not
was a Narusaku shipper.
Yeah, no, he was obviously a Narusaku shipper, like very obviously. You know, it was like, oh, did they hurt your favorite little ship? It's like, come on.
If you were one of those shippers, you're gonna hate this movie, and then they do. Like, if you see
absolutely
all of the people that like absolutely hate this movie, and there's a few of them. Like, you go look, they're all just people who were Narusaku shippers. And it's like, yeah. I understand. But ever since Hinata confessed during the pain fight, it was pretty obvious Hinata was in game.
Right.
Oh, I'm going to tell you, I was sold on Naruhina like all the way back in the tuning exams. I was sold on that. She gave that ointment to him, which is referenced here and everything. It's like, no. I was sold. It's like, no. He's going to marry her. They're going to have children, and it's going to be a good thing. You know, it's like, hell yeah. So yeah, I mean, I that's what made me really enjoy this movie as well, because I've always kind of been in that corner a little bit, so to speak.
No, I will say this, like, I'm a huge, first of all, I absolutely love Shikamaru. Like, Shikamaru is me and I am Shikamaru. Like, everything.
Same, bro.
Brag, like, I don't want to do anything.
Brilliant but lazy.
Yeah, brilliant but lazy. But the thing about it is like, to me, this gave to your, like, and you did such a great job of, like you said, kind of explaining through, you know, about like Sakura's, you know, part she played. But me, the other part of that is like, Shikamaru, like you said, is huge in the sense that he does a really good job usually of keeping everything very level-headed, you know, and keeping everybody kind of on pace. But then too, the other part is like Sai is a character who I love because he's shrouded in his darkness. He's shrouded in, you know, like, you don't know a whole bunch about him, but that combination, like, just from a fighting standpoint, this is why I like the two of them so much, like, as far as like Shikamaru and Sai. It's like, from a fighting standpoint, that team up should be and would be deadly. Like, because you're talking about like somebody who can use ink, you know what I'm saying, and paintings, cast shadows. And then you're talking about someone who can manipulate shadows. Like, it's a ridiculous like power combo. So, you know, I think that it's one of those things, like, and even in that, there was a little bit of that from Sai, which we all know, you know, obviously if you watch Boruto, we all see that Sai somehow does find happiness, and it conveniently is someone who I never thought that he would have been with, but it's like, it's one of those things. I wonder if this wasn't almost like a setup for him and for Shikamaru to be able to see, because like you said, like everybody was saying on the show, it's like everybody saw this love between Naruto and Hinata and how it all kind of came to fruition. So I wonder if a lot of those other characters didn't take this as an opportunity, like you said, to kind of go through a level of personal growth in themselves. Because, I mean, we all know, like I said, Shikamaru was brilliant but lazy, but then he ends up with, you know, Tamari, who is more aggressive, fiery, you know, and kind of hot-headed. Ino and Sai end up together, and you're like, okay, well, you know, how in the world does this work? But again, he's very inquisitive and curious about what love is, and very, you know, cold because he was an Ambu. So it's like, you know, it's like one of those things that he ends up with someone who is more, you know, we thought that she was, you know, kind of fiery and everything like that. Meanwhile, we just know that she's actually a lover. Like, she just wants to be happy and find that happiness. So I wonder if this wasn't a kind of a launching pad for, you know, those other relationships. So it was awesome to see them obviously show up in the movie and fight when they did, and do, you know, provide the assistance that they did. But then it's also good to kind of see like, okay, well, post this, everybody found love. Everybody was able to, go out and find a partner, and I wonder if this wasn't kind of like the spark that kind of ignited, their relationships.
Canonically, it was, I believe, actually, because they kind of get into that in some of the light novels, and a couple of those got adapted into anime arcs. But yeah, Naruto and Hinata basically started everything, and I think they got everyone to get their shit together because they all ended up having kids that are the exact same ages and attend the academy together. So apparently they all got together at the same time, and I guess planned this shit out so they were all having kids the same year.
Well, it's like everybody. It's like everybody that has a baby on like February 14th or something like that on Valentine's Day. It's like, okay, well, all right, everybody's going to be, November babies coming up. We're all good. It's going to be an influx of November kids. So maybe that was around that.
Yep. I think that everybody saw and was like, wait, Naruto was the first one of us to actually get his shit together and get hitched. Yeah. Okay, we got to get our shit together.
Yeah, no kidding.
If fucking Naruto was the one that got his shit together first, I mean, come on, guys. So they sort of get into it. I think like the wedding light novel and anime arc that they did from that, like Shikamaru and Tamari actually kind of start going out because they're looking for Naruto and Hinata's wedding presents together. And all the other characters are kind of thinking about it. Also, you mentioned the Shikamaru and Sai team up. I really like those two together. They didn't really have a whole lot of interactions in the series proper. I think the last time they properly interacted was when they fought each other back at the beginning of Shippuden. So it was kind of cool to see them kind of sort of have like a bro moment here. And in tangentially in one of the light novels that was adapted into the anime, they also kind of get a bro moment in that story arc as well, which is cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. I do like that.
And of course, Shikamaru ultimately is the guy that kind of snaps Naruto out of his funk. He's the one that stands up to him and he's like, you know what? I get that your girl dumped you and you're upset about it, but you're a shinobi, damn it. And
absolutely.
that kind of sets the stage for their relationship as adults because Shikamaru would then become Naruto's advisor, Hokage. And then my man becomes the 8th Hokage himself in Naruto's absence. But that's another story.
Yeah, no, I think, like you said, it's very, very poetic in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I wonder, again, like you said, with so many things, like I said, little sparks that kind of ignited throughout this movie. I wouldn't wonder, like you said, if that's another one of those things of like, while I was here and I needed somebody to kind of pick me up, where was Sasuke going again on this never-ending mission? And then who was actually right here and was kind of, like you said, my right-hand man to kind of push me through all of this. And it was Shikamaru. So yeah, I mean, I wonder if that didn't kind of set it up and kind of give him that, like, you know what, I was looking for a second in command. You fit the bill, come with me.
Damn straight. But yeah, I mean, Shikamaru, Sai, and Sakura, they don't get a lot of screen time, but they're here and then they fulfill their roles. You get to see a little bit of everybody at some point. And as aforementioned, Sasuke, of course, gets his little moment and then dips out. But there is one last scene I did want to talk about before we wrap up our final thoughts on this. And that's the confession itself. Naruto actually confessing his love to Hinata, because this is one of my favorite moments in anime. But what are y'all's thoughts on it?
Oh, fucking beautiful, man. Like seriously. I mean, I am kind of a sucker for moments like that in anime. And, I mean, and like I said earlier, I've been in the Naruhina corner for pretty much since I saw the Chunin exam arc and everything. So yeah, I mean, this is one of the confessions of all time, probably. Like one of the best. Yeah. Like, I mean, and it's two characters who are deserving, I would say, of it. And also, it's once again, it just caps off their path towards emotional maturity and whatnot.
Well said.
Yeah. And I mean, and I was going to say, I think you hit it right on the head, but also I think like it's one of those things, like I said, it's for me, I love the closure that this gives, in the sense that like it finally happens. Like, and I think I think Bo, you kind of brought it up earlier, but like when they were talking about like, like a Bleach level, and I'm like, we all know at the end of the day that it's going to be like, unless they just somehow ship, Rukia and Ichigo together, which I hope that they don't, because I think that Rukia and Renji make a better couple, and obviously Ichigo,
obviously,
he
yeah.
for these reasons.
You haven't read the end of the manga, then I'm assuming, with Bleach.
Nope, I have not. So I will.
I won't spoil it.
You will. Thank you. I appreciate that. but I mean, like in that situation, like to me, that's like you don't get those, at least not yet, because in a lot of those shows, like Dan to Dan is on that same path right now, which I absolutely love. But it's like,
yeah, Dan to Dan.
But it's like in so many of these shows, they give you the hope that it happens, and they give you like this, like, oh, it's gonna happen, but you're gonna have to wait. Oh, it's gonna happen. This kind of gives, like you said, especially if you started watching it as as its OG, like then you've seen this story from beginning to end through two separate shows, like I said, Naruto Shippuden, and then you kind of saw this happening, but you never got the confirmation. So in this movie, it was like, yes, like at this specific point and at that specific time when the confession was made, it was like, no. We are going to let everybody know this is love. This is what it was supposed to be this whole time. Don't mess with it. Here we are. And so I think that they did a great job. Like I said, just letting it actually just putting a nice little bow on it. I think it was absolutely awesome and beautiful in that sense.
Yes, definitely. And yeah, like I said, this is one of my favorite anime confessions of all time. Starting, if you were asking me like my top 5, it would be this one, and the Ed and Winry one from Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh my goodness,
would be there.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
But this one is even more satisfying for me because, I mean, we see Naruto actually kind of come to terms with it. It's kind of cute. He's like, well, I'm not just being kind to you because I'm in love with you or anything. And he just kind of slips it out and the only way that he can. And then she's like, wait, hold up. What? What did you say? Makes him backtrack. And then he's got to say it, but then it's hit with one of like the worst feeling moments of the entire movie because Hinata just immediately, goes away with Toneri. And I think us as the audience by this point are probably like, well, no, she has a plan. Like we fucking know there's some kind of ulterior motive here, but Naruto's an idiot, so he doesn't get that. I mean, even Sakura tells him like it's obvious that she had a plan and she just couldn't reveal it to you, But man, I have felt that so many times in my life, that feeling of rejection when Naruto's just like, he's got all his chakra siphoned out, which caused this massive explosion. His chakra, created a whole fucking hole in the moon and, he's just falling into space, with the scarf in tatters that symbolizes their love. And just like, I feel that. And also Toneri is Dakota Chancellor. And no, I will not elaborate any further.
Oh,
my
damn.
brother is a fucking bastard.
Oh, wow. Wow. Damn. Yeah. No elaborating. No elaboration needed.
Bo knows. But that moment of defeat is just like that resonated with me. It's something I felt so many times in my life with women.
Oh, for sure. Like, I get that. Yeah. It's one of those moments that, like, I tell people all the time, it's like, it's easier for me just not to say anything just because I don't want to get rejected. It's like, but no, I'm telling you I like you. Just tell me that you like me too. It's like, but I don't want to say it because if I say it, maybe you won't feel that way again. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe you're just playing me to try to get me to say something so you can be like, ha, I got you to say it. I don't really like you, So, no, it was, like you said, and it takes a lot of courage. Like you said, these are, and I feel like it's, especially like in a lot of anime, it's one of those things where you see relationships start very early in the sense that, they start at a young-ish age and they end up lasting for, a very long time. So for Naruto to be able to say, hey, you know what, like you said, I'm 17, 18, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sitting here, you know, a little bit older than that, but like I'm sitting here and I found the person who I want to spend the rest of my life with, and I finally see where you know that this all was how it was supposed to be. Like it's fate, you know, like you said, the red thread of fate, and we're supposed to be happy, and it's like, yeah, I appreciate that, but I'm going over here. You're like, whoa, hold on. I finally got the cojones to tell you, because everybody told me I should tell you because you felt the same way, and now you're not, you know, you're not here. So yeah, it is tough, but it all, you know, all good things come together.
Yeah, I remember there was a lot of people who was thinking that "Don't Toy with Me," Miss Nagatoro was kind of going to kind of go that way, you know. Like, I mean, I think they even toyed with it a little bit in the manga and everything. So, but before that ended, so yeah, I mean, I can see that.
Yeah. Well, Naruto is 19 or 20 in this movie, so I guess suppose that is a little bit early for like finding your life partner. So yeah, I mean, you know, homie got it together.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. My ex-wife was 19 when I met her, and I was 24. So
Okay, close. You were a little bit, you know, a little bit older than Naruto. You should be, that's an awesome feeling right there. You know what I'm saying? A little bit older, you know, but it's all good.
Yeah, for sure.
But all right, we'll go ahead and get into our final thoughts here. Starting with you, Matt, as our guest. What are your concluding thoughts on the last Naruto the movie?
If you haven't watched the movie, obviously watch it. And I would say too, like, it's just like you said. I think we've all kind of hinted towards it, but like, it's just a good movie. It's just a good, heartfelt, very well paced. You know what I'm saying? Nice fight scenes, like you said. The music was absolutely amazing. To me, it was just one of those movies. Like I said, it deserves the title of the last. Like, it's one of those things that, like, you don't have to do anything after this. It put a nice little bow on what we needed, at least, you know, from this situation until, you know, they brought back Boruto and everything like that and did those movies. But it just wrapped up everything just absolutely beautifully. And like I said, it's a great watch. If you get a chance to watch it and you want a little tearjerker, it didn't make me boohoo like a few anime out there, but it was kind of that moment of, like, you know, you wanted to do like a little fist pump for Naruto and Hinata to kind of get everything together. So it was an awesome, like I said, awesome movie from that sense. And like I said, great fight scenes, great music, and yeah, you should definitely watch it if you haven't.
Fuck yeah. All right. And how about you, Bo?
Oh, I mean, this is really one of the better love stories I've seen in an anime. Like, totally. I mean, as I said, I mean, I've been in the Naruhina corner for a long time. So yeah, having that nice, satisfying conclusion to all of that was really, really nice. And to have it done in a way that was actually really, really cinematic and, also, with the real thematic elements and everything to it and even some symbolism. I mean, it was actually really, really, really appealing to me as a cinephile. I mean, it's kind of one of those movies like Perfect Blue or Satoshi Kon's other works, or like what's another one, like Akira. Where I mean, it's not just good as an anime; it's good as a actual movie. Like, I mean, the script is actually, I mean, it still keeps everything that the Naruto series is and the characters are about, but I mean, it adds more gravitas to them a little bit, and even if you go into this without really knowing everything that led up to this, it's still a good watch all the way through. And I mean, it's even worth it just for that fight scene and also for that confession scene, which I will say is probably one of the more relatable relationships in anime, to be honest. So yeah, I really dug that, and the fight scenes were really cool. That whole planet busting level fight at the end was awesome, and I mean, there was even some little bit of suspense here and there, when it came to, where everything is actually going to end up and whatnot near the end. But yeah, I enjoy this movie, and it does make me want to get a little deeper into the Naruto universe and the lore behind everything. I mean, even though I do, like Ash, I do feel like I've learned quite a bit about the series just by talking with you and everything. But yeah, I recommend this not just as an anime fan, but also as a cinephile. You can get something out of this even if you're not really that big into anime or Naruto at all. It's like there's something there for everyone. I guess you could say.
There's something in it for everyone. That's IGN's favorite catchphrase.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so as for me, my favorite fucking anime of all time, my favorite film from that anime. So this is a good time for me. This is honestly an annual rewatch for me every Christmas, since it is technically a Christmas movie. So the timing on this is kind of good in January. But yeah, the last Naruto the movie has everything that you're looking for out of an anime movie. High quality animation, a fantastic soundtrack, good fight scenes, emotional character development, romance, things that weren't in the Naruto anime. A fucking kiss scene in a shonen anime. My mind is blown. Seeing my boy finally get with the girl of his dreams, his big titty waifu. I'm here for it. And I'm going to agree with that one meme that's been floating around online. That's like, somebody was like, hey, there's like a dude. He's like, can somebody draw me an anime waifu next to me? And somebody draws in Hinata. And he says, no, that's my boy Naruto's wife. I would never.
Straight up.
That's me.
Straight up.
I mean, my boy. I mean,
like, you're my boy.
Like you said, Bo, this movie appeals on a lot of levels. I think I would most recommend this to someone who's a Naruto fan, who's not even necessarily watched all of the series, but has some context, some understanding of who the characters are, or it's going to be very confusing. But even so, even with very little to work with, I think you can get something out of this, or maybe just somebody there to explain a couple things that might be a little confusing.
Yeah, definitely.
As this is set after the entire series and just kind of like throws terms like ninjutsu and genjutsu and taijutsu at you, that's like, okay, like you know. But I'm glad I got to do this with you guys again, because I feel like we got something a little bit out of waiting another season and watching this together. Going through a few of the prep episodes that we did, and I don't know, I got a good vibe with this particular episode. It was a good time, and I recommend the last Naruto the movie. It's got everything. Hell, it's even got like elements of like slight elements of horror there with like the puppets, right?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, it's too bad Robert couldn't join. Though, I mean, that's what kind of sucks. But he's been feeling under the weather recently, so I mean, he's just trying to rest up and get better. So hopefully he'll be feeling better soon, and he can rejoin us on the Ghost in the Shell episode. Hopefully,
yes. It's too bad about Robert, because we did watch these prep episodes in this movie together with him. I've seen this, probably like 4 or 5 times. Just this last couple months, just like watching it in prep for the podcast. And
yeah, seriously,
because I just really enjoy it. I've watched this both dubbed and subbed, and I vibe with it either way. It's really, really good. I feel like at this point in the English dub, the performances are actually where they need to be, and they're actually really good.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But the sub is very good too. I've watched it both ways. But yeah, the last Naruto the movie, it's really awesome. I really like it. It hypes me up. It's a tearjerker. I find myself tearing up at some of the moments, even on rewatches today.
Oh yeah.
But Matt, go ahead and let our audience know about Anime Talk and what you do and what's coming up, what you're cooking.
So Anime Talk is my podcast that I do. You can find me on, social media pretty much everywhere at Anime Talk. Exclamation point. It's an exclamation point. If you're looking for it like on, Spotify or anything like that. But yeah, it's like Anime Talk with Matt St. Jack. But like on my podcast, I pretty much talk about anime. Like I've done like some tournaments of power where I rank like different fighters and things like that and have them fight like in a tournament style bracket. I do like talk about like, intros to anime, like some good beginner, some advanced ones that like people may like. I kind of give anime recommendations rather. And then like, I do like, episodes like this where I do like a movie review, or I'll do like relationships in anime or things like that for like, Valentine's Day and stuff like that. So I just do like a lot of different things, like either rankings or just talking about random shows that I'm watching and things like that. But as far as what I'm cooking, I'm actually like, that's why I was appreciative for you guys kind of reaching out, because like here recently, it's not that I lost motivation for my show. It was so much. I feel like I burnt myself out a lot by trying to hurry up and put out episodes, and it's just me, when I'm talking. So obviously you get to a point where you don't want to hear, you don't want to hear your voice like all the time. And I'm just like, dude, it's tough to promote the show by myself. And at the same time, like I'm talking, I got to do my own research. I got to put everything together. I got to edit all my stuff, which my stuff is not edited. If you go to my show, it is a one take Charlie. If you hear a sneeze or you hear a car passing by in the background, I am not suppressing anything like that. And I'm not editing it out. So I'm just one of those people. But yeah, so it was, that's what I said. I was really appreciative for you guys to give me an opportunity to jump back on. Cause I mean, like I said, I know that I've definitely not fallen out of love. Obviously I love anime and that's pretty much all I watch, but, it was good to kind of jump back on this, and you guys kind of, sparked a little fire in me to kind of get back on and just kind of reinvent a little bit more of my show. So I appreciate you guys, for doing that. But yeah, like I said, that's what we do, man. I talk anime all the time. And like I said, if you vibe with it, you vibe with it. If you don't, you don't, it is what it is. But yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
That's what's up, man. Yeah.
Sounds like we gave you that one moment where Naruto finally kind of like reconciles with what happened with Hinata, and he's talked to Sakura, and he stands up and he's got that like next time on Dragon Ball Z moment where he's pumped and he
yeah.
So if we gave that to you, then I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. You guys definitely gave me that. Like I said, it's good though. It's good. And I always love, obviously, like I said, I love everything anime. But, it's always good to, talk to like-minded people and just kind of, get a different opinion on certain things. So like I said, that's what I do. And hopefully, we can set something up in the future to where you guys can, jump up on my show and we can, do a collaboration episode on that side. So that'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
Word, man.
Yeah, definitely.
I would be so down. As for Collateral Gaming, which is my show, we just got out our part 2 of our episode out on Ocarina of Time, finishing our Zelda month in December. So go check that out. We recorded parts 1 and 2 with Devin from the Last Video Game Podcast and Dan Rockwood. And we should also have out our post-holiday wrap-up special on the bonus round, where we talked about our top 5 favorite Angry Video Game Nerd episodes from season 3. And then we'll have our year in review episode out very soon as well, both Collateral Gaming and Collateral Cinema. As for this month's content, we are doing our 50th episode of Collateral Gaming, and we are talking about Super Metroid. So I'm really, really excited to get into that. I love the Metroid franchise almost as much as I love the Zelda franchise.
But not as much as you love Naruto.
I don't know. Naruto and Zelda were both like autistic special interests for me. So like I was obsessed with both of those franchises at different points of time, and still am to an extent. So yeah, man, this has been a great season to get to talk about Naruto, Zelda, Metroid, and shit. It's been awesome on both podcasts. And Bo, with Collateral Cinema, like I mentioned, we are going to have our year in review episode out, and you also mentioned we are doing Ghost in the Shell as our second episode this month, right?
Yes, and we will be joined by the guys from the Retro Anime Podcast to talk about that movie. We've done a couple of episodes with them in the past, and they're always fun to talk with. And we just released our post-holiday wrap-up, which on the director's cut, which we talked about Tim and Eric, awesome show, great job. The Crimbus special now on DVD, which is one of my favorite Adult Swim holiday specials probably of all time, to be honest. But before that we had a Samurai Cop that's also available.
Hell yeah!
And we're going to do our year-end review as well. I still need to kind of catch up on some of the movies, though. But I know one movie that I'm going to talk about is In a Violent Nature. That was really interesting. So, yeah, look for all of that, and also look for more Collateral Let's Play. I'm going to try to record a new Phoenix Wright Wednesday in the next couple of days. So, look for that coming very soon. And also, I believe we just released some Call of Duty Saturdays, right, Ash?
Well, we skipped it this week, but we will be back next week with Call of Duty Saturday, and we are going to be doing the Black Ops 6 multiplayer. Again, I'm not really much of a multiplayer guy, but I've kind of actually been vibing with Black Ops 6, and it's been fun. So I'm going to try to pump those out once a week. And here very soon, I want to actually start recording some segments of gameplay of video games that we're actually covering on Collateral Gaming for Collateral Let's Play. And so we would do like the first section of each game that we're doing. And if we like it enough, we may even continue to release the rest of it as Patreon content and finish the game. But that's something I should be introducing here within the next couple months. And you can find Collateral Let's Play on both the Collateral Cinema and Collateral Gaming YouTube channels. So yes, do check that out. And if you enjoyed this podcast, leave us a review. You can help us rise up the ranks on Good Pods, or leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, or feedback on your platform of choice, and help us grow a little bit. You can find us on all of the socials. We are on Blue Sky, Threads, Facebook, Instagram, and the Deadbird app. So go check us out on all of those spaces. We do have a Facebook group called Collateral Media Podcasts, where you can interact with us as well. And we do have a Patreon where we have exclusive film commentaries. We haven't done one of those in quite a bit, but hopefully soon we can get back on that.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I would love to. There's a couple of commentaries that I think are kind of lost media in their own right. Weren't we supposed to do Poultrygeist? At one point? Yeah.
That's lost media, just like the first version of this episode.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know what the fuck happened to it. Damn it. But yeah. I mean, we're going to start putting more content on Patreon, but you could also help us on Buy Me a Coffee, and also on TeePublic, where we have an affiliate link. You can find it in the show notes, and you can browse our selection of hats, shirts, mugs, tapestries, and more. So yeah, check us out there. And we also have a Podbean affiliate link. Use that to start 1 month free on Podbean if you want to start a podcast, and by using our affiliate link and signing up for the unlimited plan. So yeah, check all that out.
And if we do get enough donations, we will actually start. What we're going to do is we're going to go out and we're going to give prosthetic legs to people and cure them of blindness like Mr. Beast.
Oh no. Are we also going to harbor sexual predators like Mr. Beast? Because I hope
not. Dear God, I hope not.
Yeah. Let's not do that.
Same.
And on that note, Matt, thank you so much for joining us. This was a great episode. And with all that being said, I've been Ashley Chancellor Databayo.
I have been Killer B, Bo Maddox.
And I've been Rikage A, Matt St. Jack.
Hell yeah. And this was Collateral Cinema with Anime Talk. We'll see you guys next time.
See you guys.
Laters. Collateral Cinema is a Collateral Media podcast. All music and movie clips are owned by the respective creators and are used for educational purposes only. Please don't sue us. We're poor.